European family.
Thank you for those beautiful words, Juliet. It's tough. Yeah, we're not far away from the big moment, but let's remember who we are. We are Europeans. And let's also remember that we are on the right side of history. There's no doubt at all about that. And let's go forward with hope in our hearts and with courage, and remembering that we still have the love and the friendship and share far more in common than divides us, not only actually here in Britain, well, I say here in Britain, I'm based in Italy now, but in Britain, but across Europe as well. So let's be strong.
I think also remembering our duty to generations coming after us. Future generations have an obligation, I think, to them to carry on the original founding work of the founding fathers, which was to promote peaceful cooperation to overcome difficulties and to create a better world together in tolerance and democracy. We are the custodians for a short period of time, and we cannot allow this crash to be left in pieces on the floor. We have to rebuild, we have to re-establish our family.
We carry the light to the next generation, and the hope and the memories and the values on which Europe is founded and which we will continue to build, our common European home. So perhaps, Juliet, at that point, we might read the declaration from your hand, and Susie and Kathy and the others. So, but you very kindly asked me to read it with you, which I'm happy to do. But I think you're the one who's going to start. Is that right?
Yes. Are you going to put it up on the screen, Roger? Or?
I'm not sure I can easily do that.
Have you got a copy in front of you? And
I have.
Yeah. Shall I start the first paragraph and then you? It takes us a few minutes. It's quite short, yeah, but it was inspired by Europeans across the European Union and further afield, including friends as far away as New Zealand. So our Declaration of Solidarity by EU citizens begins: "We, citizens of Europe, unite in solidarity to declare our commitment to peace, freedom and democracy. Having experienced the joys and the enlightenment that a Europe without borders brings to all generations and all people, we pledge to support the values of human dignity, mutual respect, equality and tolerance that have given us years of peace.
We pledge especially our solidarity across borders with our vulnerable and excluded citizens, to seek a better future for those without a voice, to share our values with our children, to include, not exclude, and work to realize a better future for all. We share a common vision and determination to defend and advance our Europe without borders, and oppose all who would squander the achievements of peace in Europe.
We reject abandoning people in poverty and hard times. No citizen should be left behind. As European citizens, we stand together in offering mutual support. We know we cannot always trust and leave the defence and promotion of our values solely to parties, politicians and institutions. We know that we, the people, are stronger together, that politicians must develop their links with us to strengthen our bonds to enable us to face future challenges together.
We recognise that democracy is only as strong as its peoples, that governments are transient, and that those who seek division and destruction are ephemeral. Solidarity is built and sustained by human contact, by families, by men and women, older and younger generations, and by all those experiencing and valuing humanity, dignity, equality, and sharing.
We thank those who constructed the Europe of today and turned a vision into a reality, the founders of the European Union, and those who built on its beginnings, aiming to make life better in the interest of all. We have a long way to go, but together we will succeed. That is what we want. This is our voice, a voice of solidarity across borders, a determination to protect and to promote a Europe without borders of any kind. We are one people. We join together in solidarity we join together in solidarity to sustain peace and democracy now and for our future generations. We will succeed.
So thank you very much indeed, Juliet. And the moment that's on the neweuropeans.net website, on the homepage, neweuropeans.net, you can sign it there. We will get it onto lots of other websites, we hope, as well. We'll be able to gather their own signatures, all properly protected, so that they can keep in contact with people who sign, but that we have one running total, and we hope that that will catch fire.
And at the moment, we have it in German and Italian as well.
So it falls on me not to have the last word. I'm pleased to say that's going to be Maria, who I'm very pleased to see is with us there, and I hope she's got plenty of battery on her phone. Nodding, I think, yeah. So the first thing to say, I think, really is that just heard from Juliet and from me. I mean, Juliet, again, thank you so much for everything that you have done. But you know, this by no means been a one-woman, one-man show. This has been teamwork, and that's what Europe is about. It's about teamwork. It's about doing things together. It's about being a team, about being the best. Although everybody thinks they're the best in Europe, some people think they're only the best. They like to tell other people what to do. But in the end, what's important is to be the best team, to be a team. And this has been a great achievement of a very big team. And I just want everybody who's been on the team knows who they are, and I thank you. And like you're a team, we've also had moments during the day where we've had sort of technical glitches and where things have broken down, like as this is going to happen at 11 o'clock. And fortunately, we've been able to restore the connection. It was connection lost, and then it was connection restored, paradise lost, paradise regained. So that, I think there's a message in that as well. I think that sort of, we didn't do that on purpose, but I think it sort of reinforces what we wanted to say today. You know, you can build bridges when they fall down, and that's what we're going to do. I think the other thing that sticks in my mind about today is that, of course, being very emotional, and we've had tears, and maybe getting some tears now at 11 o'clock and after 11 o'clock, and that's understandable, and you know, I feel it too. We've also had some laughs, and because in the end, the story of Europe it's about people, and we are human beings, and as part of our humanity, and I hope that you've been very moved by some of the stories that have been shared today, but you've also at times found it entertaining and funny, and you know, that's what peace looks like, as Tom Jackson Wood told us when he made his film, A Piece of Europe, about Northern Ireland. Peace can be fun. So Juliet mentioned Berlin, and I haven't got time. You'll probably be pleased to hear to tell you my story, but I have managed to live and love and work, I think, in a lot of different European countries, and I'm in a different European country right now. And I was also in Berlin in the 1980s. I was in Berlin when the Berlin Wall came down. So that's something I saw in my lifetime. So I know that walls can come down. And actually, reading the history books, I know that the Berlin Wall actually went up. It went up in my lifetime in the 1960s. And I hope that I will, I'm sure I will, live to see the day when free movement comes back. Might be much sooner than we think. I do think the long and winding road didn't just lead to Ursula von der Leyen's door, but it continues. And the thing about a long and winding road is it sometimes can turn back on itself. And so we had a discussion this afternoon about what conditions might be if Britain wanted to rejoin the European Union in years to come. Somebody said that they'd probably be in 2066, the anniversary of the Battle of Hastings. But I think we all hope that it will be sooner than that. But long and winding road goes on. The conversations go on. And in fact, at midnight tonight, there's a very important initiative organised through Grassroots for Europe and many other organisations in the UK, building up a register, the Rejoin Register. So it's always good at times like this when one feels a little bit helpless and that things are not going our way. It's always helpful if somebody comes along and says, there's actually something you can do. We've already said one of the things you can do is sign the Declaration of Solidarity and share that around. Another thing you can do is you can sign your name on the Rejoin Register. Again, details are on our website. It's not an issue of Europeans, we're just signposting it, and that will be open for signatures, I believe, at midnight tonight, so that we can build up a large database of people who want to rejoin. And those of us who are concerned about GDPR, I know Juliet's an expert in this, I think all of that is, you're not going to sort of be signing away any details that people would do untoward things with. I think they've thought all that through, they've learned all the lessons from before. It's simply trying to get a rolling list of a big number, we hope, of people, start collecting those names and those supporters now. Same time that the Berlin Wall went up, President Kennedy was shot, and this year Bob Dylan wrote extraordinary one. I think he wrote it this year, but he released it this year. Murder Most Foul, about death of Kennedy. And the thing about the death of Kennedy that reminds me of this is that, you know, a principle of free movement is not a person, but in a way we mourn so many memories, so many relationships, so many things that opened up to us. We mourn that. But we also mourn. I think that was the thing about the death of Kennedy that, for me, Dylan's song captures so well. The alternative future that we didn't get because things went the other way. What America could have been if Kennedy had lived. And we mustn't let that happen now. We mustn't give up our dreams and our aspirations and our sense of how Europe can be different. It doesn't have to be like that. And of course, murder most foul is a phrase from Hamlet. Something rotten in the state of Denmark. You do is cross out the word Denmark, and I invite you to think what you put there instead. Of course, that was spoken by a soldier, not by a king, by a citizen. And it's worth listening to the Dylan song because he also talks about how it was done like a magic trick under the sun, expertly executed, brilliantly done. A bit like Brexit, you know, it was a bit of an amazing trick that they pulled off. A bit like that. You don't realize that it's happened until it's done, and that's what's going to happen this evening. We heard a lot today. Don't know what you've got until it's gone. Remember that internet searches for European Union from the UK spiked at midnight on the 23rd of June. I suspect that next week people are going to be, at long last, I mean, we started New Europeans in 2013 to try and sort of bang the drum for freedom of movement. We haven't done very well, I apologise. But I suspect that next week there will be more interest in what freedom of movement is than this week. We got attacked last week by the Daily Express saying, you know, let it go, let it go. You know, they think we're a bunch of, what do they call it, Ramonas or this, that, the other. I think by the time these journalists who are calling us Ramonas are on the beach and wherever it is they go on holiday next year, and they're trying to download their favourite film or football match or whatever, and they realise that their roaming charges have gone through the roof, they're going to be Ramonas too. So I think there's a lot of work to be done. And it's the end of the year. It's been a very difficult year. I wish everybody a happy new year. I wish everybody a healthy new year. But I do say, you know, there's a lot of work still to be done. Sign the Declaration of Solidarity, sign up on the register to rejoin. Yes, join organisations, not just New Europeans. A lot of them be mentioned this evening. Humans, as the European movements, Women for Europe. Join a pro-European movement. If it's New Europeans, that's great. If it's another one, that's great. In Britain, we have the strongest pro-European movement in the whole of Europe. It's a bit of a paradox. So let's.
I think the other thing we can all do is talk to our neighbours. The number of people tonight who've been saying they're flying the flag, the European flag, in their garden, or they're playing Ode to Joy full blast because they've got Brexit neighbours who've given them a lot of grief over the past couple of days, is it's very amusing. It's also very sad. But the idea that we should talk to our neighbours and actually explain, just as you've done, what the loss of freedom of movement means. And the number of people who turn around and say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it meant that I couldn't go and buy my retirement home if I want to retire in Spain. I didn't know that I'm going to have to declare what I want to bring back from European countries when I go to a French supermarket. I didn't know I'd got to fill out parcel forms to send a present to my nephew in Ireland or in Bulgaria. So there's a lot of shocks, and we can explain.
So let me finish. Absolutely, life's going to get much more difficult. I hope you can see the candles. Of course, quoting Hamlet again, to be or to be, well, it's not to be, as far as free movement is for now. But of course, what people forget is that it goes on to say, well, it's better to, suffer the slings and arrows of a rageous fortune or take arms against the sea of troubles. We have to take arms against the sea of troubles. That's the real question. Never mind about free movement coming to an end. Let's get on with taking arms against the sea of troubles. Now, somebody who knows about that is Maria Spirova who's going to talk us out. And I just say, what also comes to mind at this time is 1st of January 2014, Luton Airport, 7:30, when the transition controls, when we finally got proper free movement in Europe, and the transition controls came off for Romania and Bulgaria. We were supposed to be having the invasion from Bulgaria to Britain, but I mean, I'm the advance guard of the invasion of Bulgaria from Britain. I think I'm sort of halfway there. I want to ask Maria Spirova if she will kindly keep the lights on for Britain in Europe as a Bulgarian EU citizen, and just as in the few minutes remain to talk us out, and do have a look at what Maria had to say to us earlier on today on the catch-up. Maria, over to you.